Hello again, it's Mo back in Matthew's Friends Keto Kitchen on the cooking channel. Last time you saw me I was doing hot cross buns, and now I'm going to show you a traditional Easter dinner, but I'm going to show you the different diets so that you get an idea of how things change when you go through 4 to 1, 3 to 1, etc. And it really shows up the differences in the size of the meals. On this plate here, this is 4 to 1 classical, and as you can see there's a slice of meat. It's a fairly good slice really, and you've got a little selection of vegetables. These are interchangeable if you put them in the EKM or on your exchange list if your child doesn't like these particular vegetables, but these are fairly popular. And you see here roast celeriac. It's not potatoes. You get quite a good portion with celeriac because it is lower carb. And in the little cup here there's gravy. Now you need to make that from the residue of the oil that you cook the celeriac in. You put some stock into the same dish to rinse it through and make sure you get all the residue and the oil, and then just boil it up a bit. Knorr stock cube as always, very nice. And then you can add just a teaspoonful of cream, and that gives it a little bit of body and a bit more colour. And with this meal, just to complete the ratio, you get a treat of a little dessert. And for the 4-in-1, blueberries, again interchangeable. You can have raspberries if you like, but just make sure that you get the right carb content. And that's clotted cream, and that's quite a nice little dessert. Now here we go on a bit, and we've gone to 3 to 1. And as you can see, we get a bit more meat, same vegetables, but it's just to show you the difference. You've got more carrot, fraction more broccoli, and a couple of more beans. Gravy, same thing. When you've roasted your celeriac, put the stock in, make a gravy, a little bit of cream for colour. We've got blueberries again for the dessert, but this time I've used extra thick cream, and you just literally spoon that out. You get a good portion of it, and you can add to that some Da Vinci syrup or maple syrup just to add a bit more to it. And of course you would break down the blueberries and fold them into the cream. You don't want to just eat a spoonful of cream on its own, but I've left it like that just so that you can see the number of blueberries that you would get. Right, so now we go on to this one, which is the modified ketogenic diet, and you can see you get quite a lot of meat on this one because you get a lot of protein. Again, that's down to your dietitian how much you're going to get. Sometimes it's, I won't say unlimited because it's not, but you can get quite a high amount, and in fact this one is 18 grams of protein, so that's quite a nice amount. Again, the celeriac roasted, same vegetables, you can see very, very similar amount, bit more carrot. And again, when you've roasted the celeriac, make your gravy with the residue. Now we've got a different dessert for this one, and it's the thick double cream again. But I've melted some Lindt 90% chocolate and just folded it through, and that makes a really easy, simple chocolate mousse. That's very tasty. You can add a flavouring to it if you want, and some sweetener. Orange goes in it nice, again Da Vinci syrups, and you can make that to your own taste. Finally, this is the MCT, We've talked about MCT before. You can see there's less meat on this, about the same in vegetables. The main difference with this is that you get a bit more carb, so you may prefer to have some roast potato, and as you can see you get a good portion. That's not too bad at all. But I've roasted the potatoes in the MCT oil. Now you can do that with half the oil, and then make sure you make the gravy with the residue. If you only use half the oil, then the other half you'll have to stir into the dessert to make sure you get it. So you will find which will be the best way for you or the person that's eating it. If you don't want that much MCT oil in your gravy, it might be best to divide it and have the other half in the dessert. But you can try that and see which you prefer. And the gravy is made in exactly the same way as the others. Now this dessert is one that you don't have to do anything with other than stir some oil in if you want to. And it's Alpro dessert. You buy that in the supermarket, and it's low carb, nice and chocolatey, and that is about 3/4 of the pot. You can't, that's why it's in a dish, you can't eat the whole pot, but it's a fair portion, so it's pretty good, and it's rich, and if you're busy then it's nice and easy. All of these meals in front of me are based on the Little Matty ratios. As you'll probably be aware, there's ratios within ratios, variances, but you'll be dealing with your dietitian, and they'll be obviously instructing you what to do. But this is a good basis on which to start, and you can see what you may possibly be working with. So I hope that this helps you, and you can see that life isn't as difficult with a roast dinner, because other than the celeriac and the MCT potatoes, which you'll have to cook separately, all of this can come off of your family meal. When you've cooked it all and it's ready to serve, all you've got to do is have your scales and take from the family plate up the ketogenic meal, and then get on with your own. Other than the MCT, there isn't anything different to what you'll be eating. And just a little tip, if, for instance, with the celeriac and potatoes, if you don't want to put such a small amount into the oven to roast away, just keep your parboiled ones to one side after you've parboiled them for the family meal, and then just get your oil, small frying pan, and fry them. They'll look like roast potatoes, and that's just a little tip really, that if you're under pressure, if your oven's full and you don't want to put another dish in, you can just fry them on, and then you've got your oil already in your little frying pan, and you can just make your gravy. So that's quite useful. Happy Easter.